There are so many things in our everyday lives that we take for granted, partly because we don't have time to learn how everything works, and partly because we never had to think too hard about it. It is absolutely fascinating to try to wrap our head around the reasons why things are the way they are, especially when the answers are so unexpected. Curious? Watch full video to see the things we have wondered about, explained. Why we always see the same face of the moon. The same surface of the moon always faces toward us because the moon's rate of spin is tidally locked with Earth and synchronized with the time it takes to complete one orbit, meaning that the moon rotates exactly once every time it circles the Earth. Why our voice sounds different on recordings. When we hear our own voice, a significant part of the waves hitting our ear are traveling through our skull. When we hear a recording, that aspect is removed, so it sounds shockingly different. Why train tracks have stones? The tracks are filled with specific kinds of stones, or track ballast, whose sharp edges interlock with each other and prevent the railroad ties from sliding. They also help bear the load of railway ties, drain water quickly, and inhibit vegetation. Why our fingers get wrinkly in the water? This strange phenomenon is caused by blood vessels below the skin that constrict, which scientists believe have the evolutionary advantage of making it easier for us to pick up wet objects. What the tiny jean pockets are for? While they seem completely pointless now, they are a relic of a time in the late 1800s when they were originally a place for men to store their pocket watches. Levi's first ever pair of jeans had them, which hit the market in 1879. Why orange juice tastes bad after brushing our teeth? It is a remarkably bad taste, and it is apparently the foaming agent, sodium lauryl sulfate, used in most toothpaste, that causes it by dampening sweet receptors in our mouth. Why wedding rings are worn on the fourth finger? The tradition of wearing a wedding ring on our fourth finger apparently dates back to ancient Egypt, when the ring signified eternity, and many believed there was a delicate nerve that ran from the ring finger to the heart, which was thought to be the center of our emotions. Why we say hello when we answer the phone. The telephone was originally constantly open, like a walkie-talkie, but there was a need to signal when someone wanted to start a conversation. Thomas Edison reportedly suggested that callers say hello when they wanted to let the other person know that they were ready to talk. Why cats love boxes. Cats, big and small, love to climb in a box that can fit them, and apparently, they do it to feel safe, so that nothing can sneak up on them. It is recommended to keep a small space for a pet cat to go when they need some alone time. Why hair starts to gray. Hair gets its natural color from pigment cells known as melanocytes, which produce chemicals that pass melanin to cells that create keratin, the main ingredient of hair. As we age, our melanocyte cells slow and degrade, causing the keratin to receive less pigment. Why we cannot tickle ourselves. The cerebellum in our brain, which monitors motor control, predicts the tickle we try to give ourselves and does not bother to set off any alarms because it knows the source and expects the sensation. Why we eat cake on birthdays. While the ancient Egyptians are credited with inventing the concept of celebrating a birthday, the ancient Greeks took that and added a sweet. They reportedly made moon-shaped pies to honor Artemis, and added candles to make the cakes glow like the moon. Why we started saying cheese for photos. It has nothing to do with actual cheese, but saying the word cheese makes us appear to smile. It was reportedly mentioned as early as 1943 in a Texas newspaper article. Why most blackboards are green. Blackboards were originally black, back when students would use individual-size painted wood or slate boards. But once teachers needed bigger boards, companies started making them out of steel plates coated with green porcelain-based enamel to be lighter, less fragile, and thus easier to ship. Why dogs are man's best friend. Though people these days have all kinds of pets, there is something special about dogs. It involves a long history of companionship and domestication which experts think dates back over 23,000 years ago in Siberia. Why old paper turns yellow. The yellowing effect of paper is due to oxidation. Being exposed to air and sunlight causes a chemical process that allows paper to absorb more sunlight and darken from white to yellow. Why we hiccup? The muscles we use to inhale contract while our vocal cords are shut by the tongue, similar to tadpoles when they are breathing underwater during the stage when they have both lungs and gills. In both humans and amphibians, the hiccup signal also reportedly comes from the brain stem. Why most school buses are yellow? The standard color is officially called National School Bus Glossy Yellow, and it dates back to a 1939 Conference of Transportation Officials of each state in the U.S. Yellow was chosen because it is visible at all hours and the black lettering atop is clear. Why lightning travels in a zigzag? Lightning bolts are jagged because the electrical discharge follows the path of least resistance in the air, which is not typically conductive itself, and so depending on the pollutants, temperature, and humidity, the bolt will zigzag its way down the easiest route.